We're on, baby.
Hey man, did you see Captain America Brave New World this week?
I did not, dude, and I didn't hear great things.
Dude. All right, I got a review for you. Review time, review time,
Review
review time.
time.
Marvel, where's Marvel at this week? Review time, review time. All right. So I
Let's do it.
saw so me and my wife Sarah, we went and recently rewatched the hold on one sec. We're live on the tube.
We're tubing, dude.
Just gonna pull that bad boy up real quick.
Review
Cut all this
time.
out. Can I throw that out there?
Throw it out there. What are you throwing out?
All right. So anyway, I saw Captain America: Brave New World. Me and my wife Sarah, we hadn't watched the Falcon and Winter Soldier, the Disney Plus series that came out. I think it was like the first one when they first dropped Disney Plus that came out, and so I hadn't watched it since then. I remember liking part of it, and then the end is kind of, I don't know. It's like the one where he's in the suit and he's telling the senator, he's like, "You got to do better, Senator." And he's like justifying the terrorism of this young girl, and I was like, I don't know, Captain America would, those means would justify the end. But anyway, I enjoyed it for the most part. I like Sam Wilson. I really like Anthony Mackie. I think he's a great actor, and I love the rapport that they built, on your left with Steve and Sam, and I think that's a cool
Yeah.
storyline. And so when they announced that they were going to make him Captain America, I was like, cool. It was either going to be him or Bucky, and I can understand in the MCU why it wouldn't be Bucky. The way they've kind of built him up, like he's not mentally fit, I don't think, to be Captain America. So when they made Sam Wilson, I was like, cool. Went into this movie, started hearing this movie was shot like 3 years ago, and they've been doing massive reshoots on it. They're kind of lying about it now and saying like, oh, the budget was $195 million, but like that was the original budget. And I've heard that they've done 2 or 3 other reshoots because the test, beautiful, well done.
I realized I forgot to put it on.
The test screenings were like really bad. So I went into this like, I don't like, there's a lot of Marvel movies or a lot of movies in general people will bag, and if I want to see it, I'm like, I'm not gonna let that affect. I'm still gonna go. So Valentine's, me and my wife went to see it, and this movie was an absolute turd, dude. And there's like, people bag the Eternals. I don't know. I thought the Eternals was, if nothing else, watchable, and it had some cool moments, and they tried to do something different, and I could tell. I know, people had a lot of problems with that movie.
I feel like they tried to go really big, and I did respect it.
Yeah.
I feel like it had too many characters, and
True.
but like that's the storyline. So it's like you can't really choose to like, oh, we're only going to use a three or four of them. You had to use the whole cast.
Right, and another complaint, that's one of them, and like they're basically introducing characters for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But I don't mind that so much because it's like a 2.5 hour movie, so you're trying to build out that world. I appreciate that. Another complaint I've heard is that the Eternals was like a Jack Kirby creation, and so it was very bright and vibrant in the comic books, like in the 60s or whenever it came out, and this one was dark, and they gender swapped some of the superheroes. I don't really care really about that all that much. I sometimes it makes for a compelling character. Another complaint I've heard is sometimes it doesn't, but I didn't think it really affected that so much. I thought that they turning Icarus into the villain was kind of weird and stupid. And then there's that whole thing with the Celestial that was just hanging out in the Atlantic Ocean. But
yeah, I didn't really know much of the lore of the comic book, so I didn't know what to expect from it. So I didn't have any expectations.
Well, the comic books are cool because you have the Eternals and you have the Deviants. And so basically these Celestials created the Eternals, who were like the guardians of basically not the Guardians of the Galaxy, but they were the guardians of, like, they were robots basically for the Celestials that would go and protect certain things. And then you had the Deviants. So it was kind of angels versus demons. But the Deviants, the way they looked in the movie, I will admit, like, were terrible, especially from the comic books, because they're like really weird and like kind of mutant looking characters in the comic books. In this, it was like they were just aliens or whatever. But anyway, so I went into this movie kind of with an open mind, wanting to like it, wanting to like Anthony Mackie, accepting Anthony Mackie as the new Captain America.
Yeah.
And within the first, so I'm going to like summarize it for you. I hope you don't mind spoilers.
Sum it up. But I do want to say this poster, was this the main poster for it? Because I
think so.
It is absolutely beautiful, man.
It's beautiful. It's amazing.
If I didn't see any of the trailers or hear anything, I probably would have been excited just based off of this poster. But I did hear about the reshoots and the fact that they were trying to make this movie for a long fucking time, which is never, I cursed, is never a good call. Like it.
No. No, and admittedly, like playing the devil's advocate here, something that's kind of left out of this is that a lot of the Marvel, a lot of Disney movies, a lot of movies in general, and especially the big budget superhero action movies, they do build in like reshoot time. And
Yeah.
I think it's because they're so big that they go back and they watch the dailies or they do a rough cut and they realize, oh, doesn't have full context. But this movie is so chopped together, dude. And I've talked to people that have seen it that have liked it and they're like, yeah, I enjoyed it. You know, it's always like that review of like, yeah, I enjoyed it, which means like it wasn't very good, but I watched the whole thing. So anyway, the movie starts and like it's kind of goes right into from Captain America Winter Soldier. We see Captain America, Sam Wilson, and he is fighting the Serpent Society, who's led by Sidewinder, who is Giancarlo Esposito. He's the guy that's holding that AK-47 on the front of that
Okay.
poster. And they're going because they've mined the big celestial that was out in the Indian Ocean, and they found that the resource of adamantium. So this is how they're introducing adamantium into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which of course we know is like the indestructible metal that's the Wolverine claws, and I think it's even more indestructible than vibranium. But this movie sets it up that it's like a cure-all basically, and so it's off the coast of Japan. I think it was the Indian Ocean. So Thunderbolt Ross, who in this movie, or before it was played in Incredible Hulk and Civil War, was played by William Hurt. William Hurt passed away a few years ago, so they recast him as Harrison Ford. So Harrison Ford plays Thunderbolt Ross. He's trying to work out this treaty with like the world that's like, hey, we're all going to get a crack at this adamantium, and we're all going to get a crack at this celestial. But Japan, there's like this weird thing with Japan because it's off. Technically, it's like kind of in their sovereign waters. So anyway, the movie starts with Sam Wilson. This bit of adamantium is stolen by the Serpent Society, and Sam Wilson is there to get it back. And they also introduce Joaquin Torres, who was a part of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and he's the new Falcon. So right away, like all of the things I love about Anthony Mackie and all the things about him and Steve Rogers, right away, I'm going to say this movie is basically a dumber version of both Winter Soldier and Civil War. There's tropes and plot points that are basically the same two plot points from those movies, but just done in a really, really clunky way. So anyway, they get the adamantium, they're quippy, they're kind of building this relationship and showing this relationship between Sam and Joaquin Torres. And it's kind of, akin to Sam and Steve Rogers, but it's just not like, it doesn't hit the same way. It's
It
kind
doesn't
of
have
corny.
the buildup and or the heart, I would imagine.
Well, see, that's the thing is like I feel like that's what Falcon and the Winter Soldier did well. Like that story was the aftermath of, it was the aftermath of Steve Rogers giving the shield to Sam Wilson and the complications in between his identity, between how he feels about Steve and what he thinks of the Captain America mantle and him not being enough. And he's not a super soldier. He's just a regular dude. And he's got wings and, that's cool. But he's got, as we know about Captain America, like you can give somebody super soldier serum, but it amplifies the goodness of who they are. Steve Rogers is worthy of the Mjolnir. So we know how good of a dude he was and is. But so anyway, they get the adamantium, they go back and you find out that Sam Wilson is training with Isaiah Bradley, who in Falcon and Winter Soldier was revealed as basically the second Captain America. It's kind of like the Tuskegee experiment where they gave he's a black man, they gave him the super soldier serum, and then they basically like threw him in jail and they treated him as this monster and not the hero that he was. So that was part of the storyline of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Sam Wilson basically gets, honors him as the hero that he was for America and during the Korean War, and he went in and saved a bunch of people and he was never recognized for it, so Sam Wilson made sure of that. Well, in this one they come back and they're like in a gym and it's obvious that Sam Wilson has been training with him, and he brings Joaquin Torres and he's like, I got a guy you got to meet. And there's like all this banter between Sam Wilson and Isaiah Bradley about old timer and all this stuff, right? And Isaiah Bradley's whole thing is like, look, as a black man and as somebody that's been screwed over by the US government, you can't trust the US government. I love that, right? Because I think at the core, the Captain America story is a libertarian story because Captain America carries the mantle and the ideals of America, but he's not necessarily in tune or he's not, copacetic always with the American government. And I think that, that kind of tension is that's what makes that character great because he's an ideal the government. He says "F you" to the government, does what he wants. Is the whole thing when we saw with Civil War, and that was the rift between him and Tony. So the thing opens, and General Ross has called Sam Wilson to this press conference that he's doing at the White House about adamantium and about this treaty. So Sam Wilson invites Isaiah Bradley and Joaquin Torres, and Joaquin or Isaiah Bradley at first is like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, have you forgotten, like, what this is, and have you forgotten what I told you and like how I feel about this? And ends up going with him. And there's a scene on the way where they're in a limo, popping bottles in the limo and like taking selfies. And I knew at this point, like, I'm not gonna like this movie because, in my opinion, Isaiah Bradley, like, what you should have done is spent the first hour of this movie showing Sam Wilson furthering his training as Captain America with a person who was Captain America and has a certain viewpoint about the American government and how not only that's, how the American government treats its heroes, but also how the American government deals in the world in foreign policy and everything that mirrors kind of the world that we live in. And so, like, he just
instead they just
over.
had them partying as the intro to the
and there's a little bit of him like unsure, but he gives in and he does it. But I would have loved for the first hour of this movie for there to have been some buildup. It's like, let's see him be Cap a little bit more. Let's see him not just holding the shield and wearing the Cap uniform, but let's see him be Cap. Let's see him do the things that we saw Steve Rogers do, and we saw a little bit of that where he's going after the Serpent Society. But I would have made that like one part of like a 3-part thing in the first act and showing him. And I wouldn't, and I know, like, when I say that, I picture a montage, and that's not what I mean. I think there's a creative way that they could have done it to where they could have shown him being Captain America, Isaiah Bradley instilling these kind of viewpoints in him of not trusting the government. So that way, when, Thunderbolt Ross comes calling, that's the breaking point of Act 1. And then Isaiah feels betrayed because he hasn't listened to him. As Captain America, Sam Wilson feels compelled to at least understand what the President of the United States wants. That's understandable. So he goes to this press conference. He has a one-on-one with, Thunderbolt Ross. And Thunderbolt Ross basically tells him, I want you to assemble the Avengers. I want you to assemble a new group of Avengers. And Sam's like, Avengers? I don't know about that. So anyway, Thunderbolt Ross has this press conference and this holograms where he's showing all of these things and explaining how the treaty is going to give access to all the countries in the world, to the adamantium and to the celestial that's just posted up in the ocean. And in the middle of this, all of a sudden, Isaiah Bradley and like 2 or 3 other people freak out and start trying to kill the president. And all this is in the trailers. Again, I should have put a spoiler warning in the beginning because we're going spoilers here. But this is in the trailer. Like, this is all stuff you see in the trailer. So Isaiah Bradley runs out. They all chase him. They're trying to kill Isaiah Bradley. Sam Wilson chases him down and is like, what the heck? Like, there's something off here. They arrest Isaiah Bradley, put him in jail. Isaiah Bradley's like, I'm not going back to jail. And they're like, yeah, you are. You're going back. And, so in kind of the propulsion of Sam Wilson trying to clear Isaiah Bradley's name and figure out what's going on, he tells Thunderbolt Ross, who's now all of a sudden Thunderbolt Ross is like, well, that's your friend and you brought him here. Get out of here. And like, I don't trust you anymore and all this stuff. And then he brings in, there's like this little woman who in the comics is Sabra, and she's basically Captain Israel. But in this movie, they don't even bring any of that up. They don't even say that she's Israeli, but she's like Thunderbolt Ross is like head of security, which made no sense. They didn't explain
Maxwell,
it all.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, like kind of, right? And so like they keep making a point of showing Thunderbolt Ross during this whole time eating these mints. And so you're like, okay, this is also, by the way, this movie is kind of a direct sequel to The Incredible Hulk, the one with Edward Norton.
Which I haven't seen in so long.
Yeah, so they don't do a good job of bridging that gap. And for the people that haven't seen that movie since 2008, like there's a lot left to the imagination or a lot left that's kind of confusing. So anyway, he tells Thunderbolt Ross, I'm going to figure this out. So then him and Joaquin Torres take a road trip. I think it's to West Virginia to this base. There's like this compound where there's a prison, and they take a road trip. Now, why, when your 2 lead characters have jetpacks with wings on it, do you need to take a road trip? And Joaquin Torres literally has the line where he goes, we're going to need to bring a lot of snacks, which I just thought for like a dude that's probably 30, it was just like a weird line. Yeah. And I get that they're trying to build the like Cap and sidekick thing, but it just didn't really work for me.
But they're just trying to make it playful, but it's not like they haven't established any concrete like I haven't seen it, but it sounds terrible so far.
There's a rapport that they build, I thought, really well in Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier between them two, but that just seemed like now it just seemed forced, and it just seemed like they were doing so. You have the mind control element of Isaiah Bradley, which is Winter Soldier, right? It's the Bucky. Bucky is mind controlled. So they go to this base and take a road trip, and then at the end of the road trip scene, they get something out of the back of the car and reveal that it's the new Hummer. So I'm like, oh, that's why they did it, because they're trying to sell Hummers. And Hummer,
did they at least have good snacks?
I don't even know. They didn't show the.
They
snacks,
didn't show the
which
snacks.
I was also pissed about, because I want to like, what's this military? These high brain military dudes eating as snacks on the way. You know.
Well, they can probably afford Funyuns. I can't.
Yeah. So they go to this base, and so Sam Wilson's in this base with Joaquin Torres. None of them. They're wearing normal clothes. Both of them have no super soldier serum. They're not like superheroes.
They're
in that
just
sense.
dudes.
They're just dudes. He's carrying around the shield, so it's not even like he's trying to conceal who he is. I'm like, why wouldn't you wear your vibranium Wakandan-made Captain America suit going into a territory you know where there's danger? So anyway, of course, the danger, you know, they run into it, and they find a guy named Samuel Stearns, who's the scientist from Incredible Hulk, that at the end, Bruce Banner's blood gets on his head and it starts bubbling. So he's the leader. He's the comic book villain, the leader in this movie. And he reveals that he's mind controlling all these people through this song. There's a song that he plays, and it mind controls people. And it, like, the look of the character just looked totally stupid and just didn't make sense. So then he mind controls.
He's not in the poster?
No.
The main villain
They
guy?
hit him like it didn't, like, there's nothing about him that looks like the comic book character. It's just this guy, and it looks like he has a nutsack head. And, but not like a good nutsack, like a kind of nutsack where you're like, what happened to you? Like, when
where it's like,
delivered you.
Put it back in the pants.
Like walnuts.
Yeah.
But the, so anyway, he mind controls the guards of this prison, and they attack Sam and Joaquin. There's a fight. Yeah, the fight sequences were okay. I didn't watch this in, like, you know, Winter Soldier, when there's like hand to hand between Steve and Bucky in the street in Washington, D.C. You're like, damn, like they're really getting down. This didn't really have that. It was very rudimentary and sometimes looked like it was kind of in slow motion. So I don't know if that was like reshoots and they just like did it. But so the head of security, the girl Sabra, shows up, and she's like, so much of this movie is exposition, and so much of this movie is told through like CNN clip updates, news updates. It's weird. Which I have to imagine was probably done after the fact to like, hey, are they following what we're putting down? Because it's kind of unclear.
Yeah.
So they go back, and General Ross, he figures out while they're in there that this Samuel Stearns guy is controlling General Ross. And General Ross promised him a pardon to basically do all this stuff for him, and that he didn't end up doing it, right? So then they go back to DC, and I forget what exactly happens after that, but essentially, like, you find out that this guy, the leader, is trying to basically ruin General Ross, Thunderbolt Ross's, President Ross. He's president. He's trying to ruin President Ross's career. And so, like, Thunderbolt Ross starts losing his mind, and he goes to China, and he goes to Japan. And Japan's like, oh, you're like trying to fool us and take all the adamantium. So Thunderbolt Ross starts a war, like a nautical or a air war in the middle of the sea over this celestial. Sam versus Japan, right? Like, because that makes sense. Like, does Japan have air force? Like, if they do, it's
supposed
really
to have
small.
like one of the strongest navies.
Yeah, but they're not like it's not like the American Air Force. Like that, you know.
Yeah,
no.
They usually don't come back with their planes.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, whatever. He goes, Joaquin gets hit and is like jacked up and falls in the ocean, and Sam goes to save him. They're like, no, you have to take down this plane because it's going to start a war. So Sam goes and saves the day. And in the middle of this, Samuel Stearns, I think it's Samuel Stearns. Am I saying that right? The leader calls
No clue, man.
Thunderbolt Ross and like starts telling him all this stuff, and he starts turning into the Red Hulk, right? So then the call ends, and like they come out and they're like, oh, Captain America saved the day, and he stops from mutating into Red Hulk. And this whole through line too.
Did they even like? Was it known that he could become Red Hulk? What is the
No,
why is he
knows.
red?
Nobody knows. He doesn't turn red. You start seeing like his thighs start swelling and his eyes start turning red. But there's nobody around because he's on the middle of the ship in the middle of the ocean.
Okay.
And he steps out of the room, and he's talking to the leader on the phone, and then they come out and they're like, "Oh, we're cool now. Like Captain America saved the day." So he doesn't fully transform into Red Hulk. So then, like the other through line here is that his daughter Betty, who is Liv Tyler in the Incredible Hulk, won't talk to him. So then there's like this phone conversation between Harrison Ford and Liv Tyler that's so, dude, it's so like Liv Tyler recorded it at her house or at a recording studio, and it's just I don't know, it's just very forced and weird and all this stuff. And so I'm leaving a bunch out, but I also don't want to like be here for an hour on this. So anyway, they go back. He's figured out there's mind control. They think that they saved the day and that everything's cool, and they come back from saving the Japanese American dogfight. And then Sam's going to watch the speech for. Oh, and then like Harrison Ford talks about like, I just want my daughter. I used to take her to, and we used to walk through the cherry blossoms. I just want to get it back. I'm a changed man. There's this whole thing about like Thunderbolt Ross is a changed man. And so anyway, he goes, the reason he went to the leader is because he was having like heart problems, which they've also touched on in a couple of the other movies. And he like saved his life. So that's why Samuel Stearns wanted, or the leader wanted to be pardoned, because he helped General Ross save his life and figure out his condition. And so he's eating all these mints. Basically, these mints are keeping him from turning fully into the Hulk. Okay. And so Sam's like walking up to, I forget where it is. I think he's going to watch the speech that General Ross or President Ross is giving. And the leader shows up and goes, "Oh, I'm going to ruin his career, and there's nothing you can do to stop him." He gets arrested. And then in the middle of it, in the middle of President Ross giving the speech, he plays the mind control music, the leader does. And so then he fully transforms into the Hulk. And just, I will say the best part of this movie is when he turns into Hulk. It's only for like 10 minutes at the end of the movie, but the CG is really good. It looks like Harrison Ford is the Hulk. And he just starts wrecking shop. From the trailers, you see like the White House blowing up. Well, that's actually in the movie. It's the Hulk, like fighting Sam Wilson into the White House. And so Sam Wilson and the Red Hulk fight, and they go and they end up in these cherry blossoms, and Sam Wilson like basically uses they're fighting, he's getting his ass beat, but he's holding his own, he's using his wings, Wakandan technology. And then finally Red Hulk, like he stabs Red Hulk in the side with his adamantium or his vibranium wings, and they pick him up and he goes, "Oh, tell me he's knocked out." And of course he's not, and Red Hulk gets back up, and then Sam Wilson just starts talking to him about like, "We're in the cherry blossoms, and remember what's important. You said you were a changed man. Now's the time to show it." And then he transforms back to Harrison Ford.
So he's the Black Widow.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Like that. Yeah. Only not as like, that made more sense, right?
Less sensual.
They set it up because, well, in that they set up that like Bruce Banner and Natasha have a little thing going. Yeah. So she's able to talk to him. And that's also cool because in the Avengers, she's deathly afraid of him. Like that's opening scene in India where she's like freaked out by him. So that like made sense. This is just some like, this is akin to the like, "You need to do better, Senator." It's like him talking him down. He turns back into Harrison Ford. We get to see 80-year-old Harrison Ford, who again, I love Harrison Ford, dude. And I actually was texting one of my other friends, because those exist. But I was texting her and I said, "Look, if nothing else," is Dave's wife, Nevada, because she was commenting. I got a souvenir cup, and, which is a mistake.
I saw your cup, dude.
It's a mistake to buy cups before you see a movie.
It's just an action figure on top of a cup.
It just becomes a hair washing apparatus for your kids anyway, and
or
it's $12
if you break your back.
Yeah, sure, which I very well could do. So I was texting Nevada and I said like, "Oh yeah, you know, let's hope this cup isn't better than the movie." Turns out it was better than the movie. But I said, but one of my things I was like, "Look, if nothing else, is I get to watch another Harrison Ford movie." Dude, Harrison Ford is so old that it's like, even when I watch Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny, and I have thoughts on that movie, that a lot of people hated that movie.
Yeah.
A lot of people hated it. I thought it was good, you know, in a certain perspective. I can see why people don't like it, but I thought it was good as an epilogue, and I thought they did a pretty good job. And like, you know,
did he voice over for the recent game?
No. That was a different dude.
Really?
Yeah, he's not. You're not paying that guy. That guy's money.
Yeah, but he is that character. So I would imagine.
I saw an interview where somebody was like, "Oh, what's it like? Like, what do you do? Do you feel silly when you're doing like the Red Hulk and you're in this digital? They got dots on you." And he goes, "Look, not to break your spirit, but that's what the money's for." So I thought that was like funny and honest and like true. But so anyway, he comes back down. We get to see Harrison Ford, 82-year-old Harrison Ford with his shirt off, which again is like, we're a long way from Indiana Jones or Han Solo.
Still pretty good though.
No, I mean he looks like an old man, dude. It like, dude, once you hit 80, like I don't care how well you age, when you hit 80, you look like an old man. And so it just like also reinforces that you're getting old
Yeah,
because here's this guy that's like the bastion of cool like your entire life and leading man, and now he's like old, dude. And there's a part in
decrepit.
the beginning where he almost eats it down some stairs. I want to watch it again just for that, because Sarah even said something after. She's like, I thought he was gonna fall down the stairs. I'm like, right? Because in the scene he like missteps and then he looks at the stair. I'm like, that was Harrison Ford acknowledging that he almost ate shit
Yeah,
on the
and they
stage,
kept it, dude.
and they kept it in. So anyway, that's basically the end of the movie. And then like there's a post scene, or there's a scene after where he's on the raft, which is the big prison that they set up during Civil War that they sent all the non-conforming heroes to. The Cap goes in at the end and saves all of them from, but it's this prison in the middle of the ocean, and they put Thunderbolt Ross in there. And who should show up to talk to him? Betty Ross, his daughter.
Oh,
And that's the end of the movie. There's a post scene where the leader's back in jail, and Sam Wilson, which I don't really understand why Sam Wilson would go talk to him, but Sam Wilson goes and talk to him. Maybe it was also on the raft. I don't remember. I watched it before the movie came out, so I didn't even stay and watch it in the theater. But basically the leader's acknowledging, he's basically alluding to the multiverse, and he's alluding to the incursion that we're all about to see in Secret Wars. That's basically the movie, dude. I just like, and Isaiah gets, justified and his name cleared again, and I just was left the pacing, the editing. There was clearly scenes. There's a point where Sam Wilson's talking to the leader, and you can tell that Tim Blake Nelson, the actor, is not even there. Like he's against a green screen. And so obviously during one version of this movie, he was probably talking to somebody else, but they changed it. It was just so many things. The editing. There was one scene where Harrison Ford was talking on the phone, and they edited like they cut it like I would in one of these feeds where like they didn't fade all the way, and they cut him off mid sentence and then continued the conversation with the person. Just like stuff that the performances were not good, the dialogue was not good. I really was bummed out. I really wanted to like this movie. I really like all the players involved in terms of the actors.
yeah.
Just
What was
didn't do
the
it.
budget for
Didn't
this?
do it for me.
The budget had to be huge.
I think originally it was 195, but I've heard rumors that it's like actually like around $400 or $500 million.
Wow, man. And
After all
I
this
don't know
stuff.
how well it did in the box office.
It
You
did
said
good. It had a
something.
good opening weekend.
Did
It made like $100 million over the first 3 days, but really that doesn't matter. Like everybody gets caught up in the opening weekend, and when you have a movie like Harry Potter or Star Wars, or back in the day, not anymore, but or the Marvel movies that hit like these record breaking opening weekends, that matters.
Yeah.
But these movies like Ant-Man Quantumania did like 115, 116 million, and then the next weekend dropped to like 50, 40 million.
That's crazy. I liked that movie, I think, more than a lot of people did. You mentioned that this movie should have been a Disney Plus release, and from what you're saying, it should have been, but the amount of money they put into it, they probably didn't feel like they could.
Right. And like,
Dane
it's
says
hard.
it 380 mil.
Yeah, so good luck getting that back. That's going to be a tough haul. It didn't even meet, like, it went up against Bridget Jones's Diary, the new one, in Britain and Ireland, and came in second place.
Wow.
So this is going to be an uphill
88
battle.
million opening weekend in USA.
It's gonna be a uphill battle for it, and it sucks, man, because I like Mackie, dude. I think there's a world where you get the right creative team involved, and you make people stop, because like the problem is like he's always going to be compared to Chris Evans and Steve Rogers. But if you're going away from that, like you have to like boom, you have to come in with
make
a bang.
it your own, dude.
Got to make it your own, and it can't just be a watered down, muddled version of two stories we've already seen with Captain America.
Yeah.
And so I was bummed. There's still a way. They said that he's going to be leading all the Avengers in these new Avengers movies. I think in the hands of the Russo brothers, it's going to work, because they've done. I mean, they're the ones that really took Cap and like boom, took him over. So I think it's going to work. I think there's a way to show him being a leader and being the Cap that we all want. But yeah, this one just bummed me out. And with that said, caveat here, I will watch it again when it goes on Disney Plus. Because sometimes you go into movies with expectations so high, and you're looking for one thing, and then it doesn't meet that expectation, and you're let down. But I don't know, just some of this stuff, it was clunky filmmaking, dude, and it bummed me out.
It just sounds like it was probably boring. And at that point, like, even if you have expectations for what like the comic book movie you want it to be, if it's still just a boring ass movie, like it's not going to be good, man.
Dude, yeah, and that's the other thing. It was boring. Like it was really boring. Like it wasn't. There was, you didn't really see him be Cap till the end of the movie, and even then, it's like pep talks. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I think it's hard the fact that he doesn't have the super soldier serum. Like he's not Cap.
Yeah, but the
He
cool
just
thing
has a
about it
cool
is
suit.
like, but the way he uses, because he keeps his wings. So there's a way of
Yeah.
doing that they kind of like get into a little bit, but not fully. And that's what I mean about like, I would have shown that in the first act. I would have shown him
Yeah.
going up against like a medley of Marvel
You got to
villains.
prove that he's worthy of the freaking movie,
Right.
dude.
Right. And then, oh, dude, I left that one part. So Joaquin Torres gets jacked up and he's in the hospital and like he's almost dead. And Sam Wilson's in there. And then they did like Bucky comes in and it's obviously like a reshoot after the fact that they were like, hey, Sebastian Stan, are you in the area? Let's shoot a cameo.
Yeah.
Dude, Bucky's apparently a congressman now. And I'm just like, what? Like from the last time we saw Bucky was Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like he was working through shit and he was like
He was
dark
like on
and
the
like
run and like hiding
but he was
and
like
stuff, wasn't
he had a list and he was going to a therapist and he was working out all the stuff that like
he? Typical congressman.
so it's like I don't know, it just is weird and they didn't explain it. Like the little they also reveal that the Sabra character is a widow, but she literally looks like she has spina bifida. And so she comes in and is like tells him like, oh, Congressman Bucky Barnes. And I'm just like, okay, dude, like
Yeah.
that's how you're gonna introduce this whole concept. I'll buy that he's gonna be a congressman.
Is
'Cause
she
we
in the
have some-
poster? Is she the one right there?
No. Oh yeah, that's her.
Yeah.
That's her back there. But it's weird. Weird. So, if we're rating this by skulls, dude, I'd give this a 1 out of 5 skulls, man.
That's pretty shitty, man.
But Quantumania was shit too, and you liked it, so maybe you'd like this movie.
Yeah, at least that one was like fun, like trying to be fun, and I feel like with
Yeah.
all of the quantum universe shit, it's just they tried to do a lot. This one, it didn't seem like they tried to do a lot. It seemed like it was just kind of a basic shitty action movie.
They just tried to shoehorn in too much, dude. The last from Iron Man to the end game was 11 years.
Yeah.
Like they gave the Infinity Saga 11 years, dude, to gestate and to develop and to pepper in, make other movies that were their own movies, but pepper in this, all-encompassing storyline. And that's what got people to come back and were invested. And now it's just all over the place, dude. And I can't even tell you what the multiverse is. Like, we don't even still know.
Is this supposed to be a start of like a new phase of Marvel? I know that they're doing like
I don't think so. We're in the multiverse.
The multiverse, but like
Yeah.
how it feels like it's already been 6 years, and what has really come out?
I mean, Loki season 1 and 2,
TV
Quantumania, Eternals. What was the last? Deadpool, Wolverine,
Yeah.
and so I don't know, man. I just like, dude. Between Marvel and Star Wars, something's got to give, dude. Something happened within those two studios, and I think it was like impunity, right? They didn't have any. The guardrails were taken off, and they didn't have any checks and
They're
balances.
the money makers, so they just let them
Yeah.
go.
Well, I think you also at the beginning Disney didn't step in and try to do their shit, and now I think you have Disney coming in going, "You need to reshoot this." Like, dude,
Yeah.
like if you're gonna give a production to a creative team, a filmmaking team, let them make the movie that you signed them on for. Like,
Yeah.
don't make this corporate, don't make this like corporate trash that doesn't have any artistry and all the soul of it is sucked out, and there's a void for like what they're really trying to say. Anyway, that's my review. You should definitely like check it out when it comes when you don't have to spend any money to go see
Yeah, I'm
it.
probably not going to go to the theater to see this.
Just rip that pen and watch, and I'm always like, the bummer about this is like, I would love to come on here and be like, you got to go see it, dude, because then I
Yeah.
can like talk to you about it.
But that's what
and
you want to do with every movie, man. You know what I mean?
I will like talk to people about. I know, like,
Well,
and
like you want to be excited about something, and
Yeah.
like when you spend money, you are hoping that it's like, I guess it's obvious, but you're hoping that it's gonna be a good movie.
well, dude,
And there's
so
nothing
often,
worse than
so oftentimes movies now, dude, like the trailers are compelling and make the movie
Yeah.
look 80% better than they are. Like, that's how it was. Like, I enjoyed Nosferatu. I thought Nosferatu was a good time. Like, I bought it, and since then I've only like gone to certain parts. The best part to me in that movie was when he first goes to Orlok's mansion or manor,
yeah.
and like he's like freaked out, dude, and then the rest of the movie is good, but it's like, I don't know. I don't like, the scenes where she's like possessed and like in my opinion, like they hold that scene out so long that it just becomes kind of goofy. And like, so to me, the trailers for that did a really good job of marketing it as this scary thing that it just kind of wasn't. It was a really good movie, and I will
feel
watch
like
that movie.
I to go to that movie, I did like it a lot. I do, after the fact, I do wish that they did more of like him taking over the city. Like he's supposed to be like the Black Death coming in and just killing everything. And they focus, obviously they had to focus on the main characters, but there could have been so much more that they could have done with it, and the like external aspects of him taking over that town and just pure chaos. And they didn't do that.
Well, and because at the heart of it, it's an art house vampire movie.
Yeah.
Like it's not
a sexy one, dude.
Dude, and it's beautiful. And like the cinematography is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Like the script is really tight, really well done, really good movie. But it's not a horror movie. It's not a movie that like you're gonna watch. And like that director, I like him. Northman is like still to this day, I think that movie is most superior one.
Dude, I 100% agree. That movie
is
incredible.
so insane.
That
movie is nonstop.
Yeah, I watched it, and then I think I watched it again either the same day or like a day or two after, because I was like, I have to see this again. And William Dafoe in that movie as that character was so wild. The Jester,
dude, The Lighthouse,
he was wild.
The Lighthouse is another insanely cool movie.
Yeah,
and that one in the run up to, they didn't tell you anything about what that movie was.
No.
Like you just kind of went and saw it because of the buzz. But that one was great, and it's like I don't know. He tried, like I felt in this one, like he tried to make it like it was an occult satanic movie that it's a vampire movie, and that got kind of lost in the sauce to me. Anyway, all that being said, like the trailers that people like these studios are making are oftentimes now much better than the movie.
Typically, if the trailer is really, really banging, I feel like the movie's not going to be.
Bro, Long Legs, the perfect example.
Yeah. 100%. Which I did. I really did like Long Legs as well.
We took the heartbeat of the actress the first time she saw Nicolas Cage.
And then you see him, and he just looks like Mrs. Doubtfire with whipped cream on his face, dude.
He looks like Vince Neil now from freaking Motley Crue, dude. Like, he doesn't... then he does,
I think today is also Nicolas Cage's birthday, so...
Happy birthday, Nick. We love you. We do love you. But then,
we love you, man.
In that movie, like that's my. I'm interested because the movie that I'm going to Oregon this weekend and go hang out with Vince. Hopefully, if I don't get wrecked. But
you'll get wrecked if you come here as well.
Why do you think I'm coming out? It's a blue state, baby.
I'm gonna suck your chest, dude. Call me Nosferatu.
I'm gonna heave all over. You're not gonna have to call cut, dude. But I'm interested because Osgood Perkins, who was the director and writer of Longlegs, also fun fact, he's the son of Anthony Perkins, who played Norman Bates in Psycho.
I was gonna say I know the name, but I don't know.
So cool lineage there. But I'm interested to see because in this new movie, what's it called? Monkeypox?
The monkey?
Monkeypox? Yeah. I think it's called Monkeypox. But I'm interested to see. I think it's 3 different directors, right? It's Stephen King, him, and James Wan.
It's just the monkey. The book might have been called Monkey. Not Monkeypox, but
I was calling it Monkey Shines, which I think is a way better movie.
Monkey Shines is pretty good.
Monkey Shines is great. But I'm interested to see how this one compares because Longlegs, like the problem with me is like you let Nicolas Cage do all his Nicolas Caginess, and it doesn't matter how much prosthetics you put on that guy. Once he starts going, Amma, and he starts like doing the thing where he's like, what's the song he sings? Not a once, not a twice.
3 times.
And then it takes this turn where it's like satanic dolls that he's putting in people's house.
Yeah, you can talk shit on it. I liked it, dude. I liked the direction. I didn't see it. Well, I kind of saw it coming halfway through, but I didn't. From the trailer, you didn't know what it was going to be.
Dude, the opening scene of that movie is so dope, dude. Where that guy goes to the house and he just gets his head blown off. Yeah. I was sitting there. Once I knew it was like. I almost like couldn't after having kids, dude. I can't watch anything about kids getting killed or kids getting hurt. Sure. Yeah. Like unsolved mystery episodes, like down to that. Like I can't watch it. I can't acknowledge that kind of evil exists. Yeah. So there's one point in that movie where I'm like, I'm not sure. I might like get up because also when I had an AMC pass, so I could get up and leave a movie and there was like no consequence. I didn't pay for it really. Yeah. And there was one point in that movie where I was like, I might have to leave this movie. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stomach this whole thing. And then it just turns, dude. And I was like, I'm okay. Like once Nick Cage comes on and starts doing his like, shit,
Yeah,
I was
dude.
like, all right, I'm good.
It's
We're
not a
good.
movie that I felt like needed levity.
No, dude. No, and he
But he
always
brought
adds
it,
it.
dude. He brought it.
He always brings it, dude. And it's
Yeah.
like
Have you seen the
sometimes it
vampire
works.
movie that he was in?
Oh yeah,
Vampire. What is it?
Vampire's Kiss.
Oh yeah, dude.
The Vampire's Kiss, dude.
Oh,
I've seen that. I've seen like
is that the first time that they allowed Nicolas Cage to just go?
no, dude. He's been doing it. Have you ever seen what was it? Leaving Las Vegas, the Coen Brothers movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's great. Don't get me wrong. That's an perfect example of that kind of Nick Cage working
Mhm.
because it's in a Coen Brothers quirky
Yeah.
ass script.
Yeah.
And like that's their shit is like that's how they work and they're able to mine that. And I think like, you know, it shouldn't work and it doesn't in a lot of movies, dude. I've seen a lot of movies with that guy where I'll even ironically watch it and be like, you know, I don't know. I just it feels like a waste of time. It feels like somebody's like I'm the butt of this joke watching
Yeah.
it.
Dane
Anyway.
texted and said we should do an S tier Marvel movie, or
Oh, I would-
Marvel movies S tier.
Dude, Dane is 100%.
Dude, he's the idea guy.
Dane's 100% in like suggestions for things. So thanks, Dane. And you know, he's also quite the Rivals player. And
Oh, he is, dude.
he's tough
He was
love
pissed
on
that I
Rivals.
wasn't playing that tonight.
Dude,
He said to
he's
cancel on your ass.
He's tough love on Rivals, dude, but you got to listen to him, dude.
Bro.
Because he'll
They announced. Well, they already
I know.
announced. I don't know if we were
I
talking
saw
about. Oh, did you see a video? Some streamers were playing it today.
Johnny Storm, dude.
Johnny Storm and Ben Grimm, and it looks like so much fun, dude.
I thought I saw a thing that Blade's coming too.
Blade is coming too. There's a new map, and they have like a spoiler of Blade in like the corner of some room where he's like being held down and isolated, and he's just like looking like this.
Dude.
Oh, dude, I'm so in love with that game. I have no time to play. I've been out of town all weekend, and then I've just been doing work and trying to catch up on sleep since I've been back.
Same, dude, same. But yeah, that's great. So anyway, that's my review. We can get off that topic now. But hey, I brought in something that I brought in last week we didn't have time for. So a couple of weeks ago, I was at Walmart because there's one close to my house, and I have to go do fruit pie runs. So I was there one time, and I always go and like, yeah, just kidding. I hope somebody gets that because that would be
Yeah. Also, do you have to do it, or is it for you?
It's for me.
It's for you.
That's
Okay,
what
you
I
don't.
mean.
It's
that's
not
where
like,
I know.
Okay.
Hey, where can I go for fruit pies? It's the mini fruit pies.
What do you mean
that
by
are 50
fruit? Like
cents.
just the
like the little
pies?
individualized mini fruit pies, dude. That like,
They're
I'm
not
kidding.
all
Number
fruit.
one, it was a joke. I don't really go and do that. I haven't bought a fruit pie since I was 31. But
That's a lie, dude.
anyway, I was at Walmart and they have these in the Pokemon card section, which I also have been watching, dude. And this is such a mistake, and I had to stop because I was getting depressed. I started watching Pokemon unboxing of people will buy the unopened packs that they'll buy at auction for like 10 grand of unopened
like
first
OG
editions,
packs? Yeah.
OG 99 or Fossil or what's the other one? Jungle first editions. And I'm like, it gives me this dopamine, this nostalgic dopamine that I'm like, oh, and the first 8 packs are awesome. And then he starts like, he'll open cards that I had and he's like, this is worth 4 grand now. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to turn this off. All that being said, I was at Walmart and at the Pokemon card section, they have these like Frankenstein in a clear package of Pokemon cards. And all you see is the back. And they're the backs from the Pokemon cards from 99. And it's like you
Frankenstein.
Get, like they've taken them, like they're cards that have already been opened and are like, it's like a second.
Oh, shit. Really?
It's like they've muddled together a group of cards and put them in this like almost mystery bag of, I was hoping to buy when they sold out, but like a mystery bag of hodgepodge of Pokemon cards. And it's like, it promises a holographic. And I'm like, there's no way a $8,000 holographic's in there. So I'm just going to divorce that right now. But I'm always curious. I'm like, what is in there? Like, what do they put in there? So I went and I was going to buy them for the stream. They sold out. But on Amazon, they have kind of the same thing, but it's 100 cards. And they're like, this is what I mean by Frankenstein. Like they're cards that they secondhand.
It's all trainers. And
it says, so this is the description. TCG new the card game, random cards from every series, 100 cards in each lot plus 7 free bonus foil cards. And you always can tell like that people don't know shit about Pokemon cards when they call them like foil cards.
Yeah.
So
it's either people that don't know shit or it's people that do like are hardcore. Because like if you talk to like the hardcore, or even the guys that are doing those live streams, they're going to
Yeah.
call them foil cards. When we were kids, they were holographics,
Dude, the
and they
way
still are
people
to this day.
the way people that open those Pokemon card packs, the way they handle them, dude.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, "Oh, there's some bleeding, some hollow bleeding, and then there's some whiting in the outer, so this wouldn't be a PS10." Because, dude, like a Charizard PS10 is like 10 grand.
Well,
It's
I have to
insane.
find it. I have a Charizard, OG Charizard, but I guess there's the first edition, and then there was the standard edition, but then there's
Yeah.
2 sets of the standard edition.
Yeah.
And I have one, and I was all excited. And then I did some research, and it's like, oh well, if it has a shadow, it's not the legit one. So I think the
Yeah.
one I have is worth like a few $100s. But
Bro,
it's still,
he was pulling like Aerodactyls, and he was like, "Oh, this is $800 PS10." Because like they will send them into like official ranking
yeah.
that will rank the quality of
Have
the
you seen how
card.
much money that costs?
No, I'm sure it's a lot.
They one of the other like one of the partners for our brewery. I randomly started talking to him about Pokemon because the trading card game came out on the phone, which is super fun. No idea that this dude was a collector, and he is hardcore about it. And he said he spent thousands of dollars to send in his Pokemon cards to get them ranked and like put in these little containers and all this stuff. And he is fucking hardcore about it, man.
Dude, it's become its own thing, dude.
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
just like I've had different times in my life that I purchased like that Fat Collectibles around the corner from my house that would sold hollows
Dude, screw that place.
for like $10. I know they were probably stolen, which is why I enjoyed them.
I used to collect Hot Wheels when I was a kid, and someone broke into our garage and stole all of the Hot Wheels from my childhood.
Yeah.
And then I went to that Fat Collectibles, and they had them there, and I asked them if they could tell me who sold them because those were mine. And the guy was so shady about it and told me to leave, dude.
Bro, you got to let that go, dude. That was so long
I
ago.
spent there were like probably thousands of dollars worth of Hot Wheels in there.
Dude, you got to let it go. It's going to
No.
eat you away, man. You're going to be
I
dying.
let it-
You're
I
going to be
don't-
on your bed one day and you're going to be like, that
Dude,
Fat Collectibles has my
it's
Hot
not like I
Wheels.
bring it up like every time I go to dinner. Like
Dude,
you're
this
talking
is
about
the se-
Fat Collectibles, so I'm telling you my story about Fat Collectibles.
This is the second iteration of a streaming channel we've done, and this is the second time you've told this story. I love it every
well, then
time.
don't bring up Fat Collectibles, dude.
All right, I won't. I
get
always
heated,
forget it's so
man.
triggering.
Oh.
I always forget. Like one of these times,
It's
I'm gonna bring it,
clobbering time.
you're gonna start crying, dude. All right,
Dude,
so
They
we have
went.
some
They went
people-
under, and I'm glad.
We have some people in the chat. If you're in the chat, and this includes Dane, obviously, tell me what I have. I am so like, what is it? The Johto region? Is that the original region? Like
What?
the first 150 Pokemon, the Johto. They have names for the different eras of Pokemon.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
So I'm gonna hold up. I took a slab. I'm not gonna go through all 100 of these because we'd be here till tomorrow morning. But I'm gonna show everybody what I have in this Frankenstein pack of Pokemon cards. And if it's anything cool, tell me because I'm not gonna know half of these.
yeah,
but I'm hoping
Dane,
to
if
at
you're,
least.
oh, sorry, real fast, Dane, if you're in here and you have quicker fingers than me, if we pull up anything that looks cool, help me figure out what it is and where it's from and how much it's worth, man. If not, it's cool. I can do it too.
So all right, cool. Some of these I might know because I did start playing Pokemon Shield on the Switch, and I
Oh,
got
I heard it's
real
good.
into it. It's fun. It's so vast, dude.
Yeah.
It's like it's so big now that I don't know. It's hard. The mechanics of the game are different. Like it doesn't follow the same rules. And like Pokemon Blue and Red and Pokemon Yellow were really like my era. And Hello Pikachu, the one that they redid Pokemon Yellow
Yeah.
for Switch. It's fun, dude. I love it. But
Yeah.
anyway, all right. So the first one I'm pulling up.
Yep. Don't know what it is. I've seen them.
This is Ladybug.
That's
It
a
looks like
little
a ladybug.
Yeah.
Looks like a ladybug.
I was gonna tell you should have set up your camera, your phone camera, like they do in like the
Yeah.
opening packs.
Yeah, I don't think these are worthy of that. This one, I think this is a common. It has a circle. So if I'm going by 99 rules, the commons were the circles, right? The
Yeah, it's
stars
trash.
were the rare. It's trash.
It's trash.
All right.
Unless
trash.
you're actually gonna battle, you don't need those, dude.
Unless somebody wants to buy it off me, I'll sell it. Dude, Tentacool. I definitely know who
Oh,
Tentacool
okay.
is.
Yeah.
Evolves into Tentacruel, correct?
What is the like so far? I
Also
only see it
common.
on the camera. Is the condition like? Are
Yeah, they're not. I mean, they're not in bad condition. They're obviously.
there boogers on them?
There's no white around the edge, which is what I learned from that guy. There's no print bleeding, which I also.
that's nice.
Which that I think happens from them being in like a box for 30 years
yeah, moisture.
and probably in different like conditions and
Yeah.
And I know who he is from Pokemon Shield. Again, another common.
Okay.
Okay, so far,
Okay.
I'm familiar with all of these from Pokemon Shield.
Your daughter would be proud of you, dude. She'd call you handsome.
Snover, dude. I don't know who Snover is.
I think I know most of these from playing the Pokemon Go game.
Yeah. Snover is he uses corkscrew punch, which is what my nickname was in high school.
He's a wino.
Ooh, now we're on to something. Blip bug. This is just all these are going to be just trash.
Dude.
All right, I'm going to tear through these. Ducklet. They weren't even trying. These are like the
Ducklet.
Hunter Biden.
Dude,
the Hunter Biden art of Pokemon, dude.
I actually thought Ducklet was pretty cool. I'm a duck guy. I was a Psyduck boy.
Yeah. All right.
He's
this
cutie,
one's for
dude.
you.
Thanks.
That one's for you.
Bring that one to me this weekend.
Roselia. I know who Roselia is.
Fuck, I hate her, dude. She was so hard to catch in Pokemon Go, and I don't know why.
Well, dude, because she uses soothing scent.
Dude, can you jump to a holo right now?
Dude, let me see if I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to look for... These are all... Dude, these are all...
Dane said, so the original unopened box goes for $250,000. Me and my friend Mikey found the card store we used to... I told this in the last podcast. The card store we used to go to as kids, we went in there just randomly just to look at shit. And the guy was like, hey, we found an original box. Do you want to buy some packs? And he sold them to us for the standard price, which is crazy to me because this was like 2015. That guy lost so much money.
Dude, he was dumb.
We had 20 of them. We opened in 1999. My mom almost passed out when I told her how much those boxes cost now. She got them at Target in 1999 for $50, dude. Wow.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy, dude. We really missed out. All right, so...
Wait, before you go, one thing that I am proud of as a grown man is Digimon never came back. Those Digimon kids were like, oh, you're stupid. These are the future. Who the fuck's opening Digimon packs anymore? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody really even remembers Digimon, but that was like, Digimon was like the Temu Pokemon anyway. It was like Beetleborgs and
but the Digimon kids thought that they had it, dude, and they were way off.
There's always kids that are like, oh, get up kids. You like get up kids?
Yeah.
All right, so all these cards are trash. They're all commons. I'm going to shout out Lapras.
Oh, okay.
Remember Lapras was a holo in the originals.
Honorable mention.
Oddish.
Okay.
Oddish. Vulpix, which he evolved into one of my favorites, which was Ninetales.
Which, by the way, those are reissues because those are not the standard artwork.
No, for sure.
No.
Ninetales was a beautiful holographic card.
Did you have the holographic?
I did.
Yeah,
I did. That was one open from a pack and didn't even trade for.
Dude, did you ever get a Zapdos?
I did. I had Zapdos.
Dude.
I had Blastoise. I never got a Charizard. I had Venusaur. I had Kadabra, which was also one of my favorites. Yeah. And then I took them to school and got like all of them stolen.
Oh yeah.
Clefairy. Clefairy. And Jinx. Now
the original trans, dude.
The original trans, dude. She was a trailblazer. Or he, I don't know. So much to the promise of Amazon, they did provide 7 holos.
Okay.
And these are all stars, so I'm guessing these are rare in whatever capacity. Now I'm not under the impression that these are going to be worth anything, but if I'm wrong, dude, tell me.
Do me a favor though. Don't hold those the way you're holding these ones. You got to hold them from the sides, dude.
Okay, dude.
Don't get your finger oils on those.
All right. The first one, and this character I really like. This is a character that I played for Shield, from Shield, that I got to know from Shield. It's awesome. Cinderace. Look at that. Little holographic star, little rare action.
I don't know who that is, dude.
My camera sucks, but you can see the hollowness.
Okay.
Next one is, and I'm unfamiliar with this guy, also a star, but this is Archops.
When did they start doing hollows around the picture?
I don't know. I don't like it as much, though. It's less dynamic. But he uses Primal Turbo, so that's cool.
Oh, okay.
One of my other favorites from the jungle region, Kangaskhan. Not as cool of a card.
Oh, that is cool, dude.
It is cool, but not as cool as the OGs.
He's like a baby daddy, dude. Like he is a baby daddy there to take care of his kids.
He's all about that pouch, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm about that pouch. So, all right. Now this one I'm stoked about this one because this is a favorite from my era, from your era. That's Flareon, one of the original
Oh, dang.
Eevee evolutions. I now understand Eevee evolves into like a bunch of different
A whole bunch.
things.
Dude, that's a come up.
That's a
Dane,
come up.
if you will, show that Flareon one more time for Dane.
I
See
have
if you
no
can
idea
pull it up.
what like era this is from. I have no idea what like pack series this is
Yeah.
from. It doesn't. I don't think it even says on here. But it's got a star, and I know if I know anything from my days, that means it's rare, and it's a holographic, so I'm not going to complain. This one's Chandelure, which is really one of the most. I mean, this is just it puts me off. Like, I don't. What is that? Is that a chandelier?
It's
Literally,
garbage.
it's a
Garbage,
chandelier
dude.
Pokemon, dude. Either the people making new Pokemon are smoking too much weed or not enough. I don't
Not
know
enough, I don't
because
think.
Ampharos, which again,
Bro, you can get a first edition Flareon OG for $200.
do it.
I'm gonna do it.
All right,
Yeah,
and the
that
last
guy's a
holo,
little fruity.
yeah, he's kind of like a Dragonite. Like
Yeah.
it's like the original like artwork of Dragonite that they rejected. And this is Mimikyu. This one's cool. This one kind of looks like
That was my nickname in high school.
Pikachu. It also reminds me of Jungle to Jungle Mimisiku, so that's cool.
That's like the voodoo doll Pikachu thing, huh?
So these will probably end up with my nephews, but
That's fine. They're probably gonna laugh at you.
we'll see, dude. We'll see what they're worth. I'll do a little quick
You
search.
spent
But anyway, that's
$100 on those, dude?
I spent 11, so I won
$1,100
either way. $1,100,
Dang.
and I made 25.
Yeah,
so
dude.
who's the joke really on?
Do you at your supermarkets and like whatever Walmart? Do you guys have the Pokemon vending machine?
No, but I've seen that, dude.
Ooh.
I saw that kid. There was a viral video going around of that kid that does the boom with his dad.
Oh yeah.
And he pulled a Charizard out of there, dude. First go. The guy that owned the shop is like, this one's on me. Pulled a pack that had Charizard in it. I don't know, dude. I'm gonna find a way to get one of those card vending machines and put it up somewhere, dude.
Well, the Pokemon ones are like legit.
Dude, but the cool thing about it is like there's all kinds of cards in there.
Yeah.
So they had like Magic, they have like Tops, like basketball cards and stuff like that. I think cards are making a comeback.
Yeah.
I think the more digital this world goes, the more like there's gonna be more demand for like a physical thing, you know. Anyway, that's all I got, dude.
Dude, gorgeous.
Cool. You got anything else?
Not really, man. I was gonna say we've been talking. You talked about movies. I've been obsessed with Severance, and I've been going hard. I don't know how you feel about that, but have you heard of the show Common Side Effects?
Just from what you told me,
dude. So I pulled up a little thing right here. Let me see if I can find it. Common Side Effects is a new show on Adult Swim. And I'm obsessed with it, dude. I watched an episode we were eating dinner right before this, and I threw on the latest episode. So the synopsis of the TV show.
Synapses is what your brain does.
That's what I thought. It didn't sound right. So this show follows former high school lab mates Marshall and Francis as they
that's great.
Yeah. Unreveal a conspiracy involving Big Pharma and the government to suppress knowledge of a rare fungus secret that may contain the solution to the cure of all the world's diseases.
Ooh.
And it's the like I put it on here so you can kind of see. I'll shut off the thing. So you can kind of see like the visuals of this. When the show was being first announced, all they did was like a little sneak peek. And it was just like these two, like FBI agents, I think ATF agents rather. And it's just the DEA agents. And they're just sitting in the car dancing to the Beetlejuice song. And it was just like so cute and kind of cool. And I was like, okay, I'm definitely going to check out that show. I've been watching it and it's blowing my mind, dude. Mike Judge plays a few of the characters, voices a few of the characters. One of the creators is Joseph Bennett. He did... see, I'm gonna mess up this thing real fast. He did a show called Scavenger's Reign, which is a cartoon TV show that we crashed. Oh, here we go. He's back. I was not ready to be on my own on this. I was like Garth. Hold on, is it working? Hey. I felt like Garth in Wayne's World, where something happens and he's just left there to talk to the camera on his own, and he's just like,
Sorry, I'm getting work text.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, thanks for opening up those Pokemon cards and telling us verbatim every moment of the movie.
Yeah, you're welcome. I didn't. There's still a lot I left out, and I'm sure I left out pivotal parts, but I think I summed it up pretty well. Yeah, dude, cool. We'll see you next week. We're gonna try to see a movie this weekend, and maybe we'll like post a video review in real time. Yeah, but thanks for joining us, and I'll check out that show, dude. Look cool. Was it like an anime kind of a thing, or is it
I mean, it's animated. I don't think it's anime.
like anime inspired?
Not really. Like it's not like mythical or anything. It's trippy. It's more of like it has some really funny scenes, but it's not a comedy show. Like it's kind of like a drama. But it's so good, dude. Please check it out.
Cool. We'll do.
Yeah.
We'll do. All right, cool, man. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for
All
everybody
right.
in the chat. Hope you enjoyed. See you next week.